Hello everyone, my name is Amidat and you're welcome to Real Talk. And today I have a very special guest who's going to be telling us what we need to know about his personality, his political ambitions, and everything that you all have been dying to find out about him. So now, sir, can we meet you?
Thank you, Amidat. My name is Victor Okhaimo, and we've known ourselves for a while, and I'm sure a couple of people also know me.
Okay.
Born of an Iyamo father, an Auchi mother.
Okay.
Some 49 years ago.
Wow.
I'm actually about, my next birthday I'll be 49.
Okay.
And it's good to know that. And today I look like a youth, but I think I'm already graduating from being a youth. But I think I want the youth to permit me to still belong.
Be addressed as a youth.
Yeah, belong to the youth cadre because of obvious reasons.
Yeah.
One, I don't think I'm too old. Secondly, I still behave like a young man. Thirdly, I associate so much with the younger generation.
Yeah.
So permit me to still call myself a youth that is growing old.
Okay.
I schooled in Auchi most part of my life. Actually, I stayed in Auchi, and until not too long ago, people believed I was from Auchi.
Yes,
and,
we'll come back to that part. But what I want to find out about your growing up, your childhood, how is it?
I grew up. It was a rough upbringing, but I'm happy I went through that stretch.
Okay.
I grew up in Auchi. I schooled in Auchi, my primary school, my secondary school. I grew up with my mother, so you could understand how tough it was for a woman to raise a child. And I don't regret it. Economically, it was tough. I hawked in the streets of Auchi. I schooled in Auchi. To the best I could say, I wasn't a bad student in school, so I was doing well compared to my peers. And I schooled in Auchi Polytechnic. I probably would have schooled outside Auchi Polytechnic. I think I was so used and close to my mother, and she wanted me always around. That's beyond the funding of going to a school outside the town. So I schooled Auchi, and at times I call myself a full-born indigene, FBI. Primary school, nursery school, secondary school, Polytechnic Auchi. I think I had the privilege of going out of town during my youth service days. So
let me take you back to your educational background, starting from the very, very basic. Can you please tell us the schools you attended?
Yeah, I went to Baptist Nursery School,
okay,
Auchi on Mission Road. I think it's currently the Baptist Church Auchi. That was from 1976 to about 1979.
Okay.
I went to a primary school for part of my primary school. Then it was St. Vincent Primary School, the one close to the Catholic Church. The later part of my primary school, I went to Auchi Primary School. Then I went to Comprehensive High School, Auchi. Had a little stay in Auchi College, then came back to Comprehensive High School to write my school certificate examinations. And from there, after passing out, I went to Auchi Polytechnic. Initially I got admission to study regional planning in Auchi Polytechnic.
Okay. And
it wasn't my dream. So after 1 year, I decided to go back to accountancy, which I wanted to do. And I studied accountancy in Auchi Polytechnic, where I graduated in 1999.
Okay.
In 1998, because of my love for politics, I was elected as student union president till 1999. That same year, I was also elected as the deputy senate president of the NANS. So it was a very beautiful year for me in school. Very trying anyway, but...
So that means you've started your unionism or your
Even in secondary school. In secondary school, I was a major antagonist to policies and establishment. At the time, I was almost fighting with my principal because I stood with what I believed in, and I fought for it. I held on tenaciously to them, and I demanded for them. And that's what I also did in Auchi Polytechnic. I was always at loggerheads with management. Provided I think I'm on the right path and I'm demanding for what is right, I ask for it. So my activism started from my secondary school days into my days in the Polytechnic. Till today, I still have this element of unionism and aluta in my spirit. But because we are growing old, we try to make it a bit low and ensure we fight for our rights with all civility. But I can tell you that right from my days in school, I represented the cadre that demanded for their rights.
Okay, I understand you have your personal businesses right now, but before you went into your personal business, you worked somewhere before.
Yeah, I give God the glory. I'm one person that I've never looked for work, and I think it's to the glory of God. When I left the Polytechnic, I did my youth service, my compulsory 1-year youth service in Port Harcourt. I was posted to River State because I wanted to go to River State, because I wanted to start a life from River State.
Okay.
Having experienced some part-time travels and spent some holidays with my elder brother in Port Harcourt, I saw Port Harcourt as a base for me to launch out. So after school, I did my youth service in Port Harcourt. Initially, I got posted to Total Nigeria PLC, because I did my IT in Total. I thought I was going to be an oil worker. Unfortunately, we couldn't get in there because they didn't have spaces for corporates. That's how I found myself in the financial sector. So I got enlisted to be a staff, youth corper in Associated Discount House, which still exists till today, and I did my compulsory 1-year youth service there. Interestingly, 2 months to my end of youth service, Reliance Bank offered me automatic employment out of recommendation, out of goodwill, out of hard work, and out of trust that they had, or they saw in me. The MD then, Mr. Yomi Majakudumi, offered me employment 2 months before I left youth service. Interestingly, I was assigned to a department where I was man alone. I was given the position of analyst. Analyst means that you analyze credit. And I asked myself, from youth service, I want to start doing the work that I'm supposed to have experience. So it was another learning phase for me entirely. And so I started learning from day one. I spent 2 years with Reliance Bank, and I left Reliance Bank after doing very well, even when they reluctantly allowed me to leave. I joined Intercontinental Bank PLC, where I worked, and from there I went to Zenith Bank. My last paid employment was in Zenith Bank. I left Zenith Bank in 2006. It was on the anniversary of my 6 years working, because I told myself, after 6 years, I want to stop working for somebody, and I want to set up businesses for myself. And those businesses that should be able to help me to engage 1 or 2 of our young people and give them at least a platform, even not so large, at least a platform for them to launch at. So I left Zenith Bank after my 6th year working, and I left as an assistant manager. Then I wasn't married, and it was a time where people would be looking forward to making so much money.
Yeah.
Then I was already earning over 400,000 in 2006. So some people, are you crazy? Why are you leaving? I said, no, my passion was I wanted to set up something for myself. Life wasn't all about money for me. I wanted to do something that I had strong passion about, and I wanted to be able to have my time. If there's anything I love in this life, is to have control of your time. And being employed, being self-employed will give you time to yourself. Politics was not even on pipeline then. It wasn't in my thinking. And after I left Zenith Bank, I joined my friends to set up Premium Microfinance Bank. And Premium Microfinance was a dream for me. And for me, it also formed the basis of what I liked. I wanted a business that could empower people, that could drive off poverty from the street. And the microfinance bank sector came very handy. And we set up Premium Microfinance Bank. To God be the glory, I was executive director until afterward I became the MD. And we were actually able to set up a platform where we were able to engage people. At the time, we have over 100 staff in Premium Microfinance Bank. And to me, I was happy. I may not have been earning so much money doing that business, but I was able to provide a platform where people could start something and grow from there. And that's how I found myself in business. And I have also dabbled into a lot of other businesses. Today I own a car selling outfit, Quick Order Autos, and I got myself involved in agriculture, got myself involved in a Bureau de Change. Some of these businesses are not running currently, but to God be the glory, we are alive, and we are able to add value to humanity and provide as much succor as we can to those we meet. But I'm happy I'm also able to contribute to the employment generation capacity of our country, and I'm happy that I'm doing what I'm doing because it gives me passion.
Wow. So let me take you back now. When it comes to the student unionism, how was it?
I was a very young person in the school. In fact, in my ESCO, I was about the smallest and the youngest.
Wow.
But I was a strategist then, because when it comes to taking decisions that affected students, I needed to take decisions that were far-reaching, that were going to yield results. Naturally, if you are a student union leader, you are going to have issues with management, because they come with their policies. Naturally, we see policies of management as not compatible with the policies that students want. From areas of increase in school fees, from areas of unjustly rusticating and expelling students, which we saw then. But I was able to manage the situation. As young as I was, I first of all identified that I came to Auchi Polytechnic to school. So the certificate was key to me. Then when it comes to demanding student rights, I was at the forefront. Then I tell people that management will always tell you things cannot work. So as a strategist, what I used to do then is, if I need to make a demand on the management, I come with a problem in one fist, and I provide an alternative solution with the next fist. So as I'm dropping my right fist with the problem, and the time is not possible, I drop the left one and tell you that I have looked at this problem. This is the solution, and there will be peace on campus. And to them, the management wanted peace at all costs, and it worked for us. For that whole year, we had peace even when there were a lot of issues. It was my year that I supervised the first public secret court renunciation in Auchi Polytechnic, and it went well. We had issues, we had crises, issues of court clashes and all that. We didn't go on rampart, we didn't close down the school, and by the grace of God, we had a very smooth 1 year. And today, I am happy that they count me as one of the best student union presidents that Auchi Polytechnic ever had. 23 years after I left school, they still call me to school to address students, to deliver lectures and also give advice. Today I'm a critical stakeholder in the Polytechnic, especially when after school I eventually became the president of the alumni association of my alma mater, and we also did the best we could. So a lot is at stake, and I think I have put in the best that God has allowed me to put in, and I'm also willing to continue to do as much as I can, provided it's for the interest and upliftment of our people.
So now, how were you able to merge student unionism and education, academics? Because I know one thing, it's not easy, so I want to find out how you were able to merge and manage it all.
Beyond Aluta, beyond academics, I was also a great socialite. Oh. I hardly miss any party in school. And people ask me, guy, what's wrong with you? I said, for you to come out well in school, you must pass through the school, and you allow the school to also pass through you. In talking to somebody recently, I said, I've enjoyed my life. I enjoyed my childhood because I did most of the things that a young man needed to do that will bring happiness, that will bring joy. If I have exams tomorrow, I can still afford to go to a party this night with my hand out in my back pocket. I probably would dance till about midnight and retire quietly to the classroom to go and read in the middle of the night. When Auchi was Auchi, you can read from night till morning, and exam will meet you in class. You don't even need to go and take your bath. To me, taking your bath was secondary. You have a job that needs to be done, get it done. Now, yes, I said it that I recognize first that the motive of coming to school is for me to get my certificate. Politics was on the side. But for me, anything I do, I want to do it very, very well. So I needed to merge it together. So I allocated time for everything. Aside that, we had the capacity to delegate. So in unionism, we had a thorough process of doing delegation. We know who can do what at what time and who will do it well. So I had lieutenants that were good, that I could supervise and ensure that we got things right. So I gave each time to each assignment. And by the time we were coming out, Amidat, I was the best graduating students in my department. It was a feat that only few student union presidents had achieved. Some people were saying that the way I was going, because of my toughness, because of my strictness, and because of my indulgence in very active unionism, that I was going to get my certificate. I said, no, I will. I take my time to read. I also take my time to do what I need to do. But let me also tell you that you have to be diplomatic in some of these things. Even while we were fighting management, at our quiet times, we still go back to them and say, "Okay, no vessel. Now, what's the business demand?"
Yeah.
And to God be the glory. We finished that year. I got my certificate. Like I said, I graduated as the best student that year in the Department of Accountancy. And I still enjoyed all the socials. So I didn't lose anything. So when I was going out of the school, I was sure that I have finished with Auchi Polytechnic, and I had the best of times.
So I don't want to say that this was what inspired you into politics, but I want to know what really inspired you into politics.
Well, every human is a political animal. Like I said, I grew up doing politics, and it got to a time I asked myself, am I going to stay away from politics? I should have done politics immediately after I left school, but I wanted a politics where I can run my thing independently. And what do I mean independently? I should be able to have, over the years, been independent financially, so that when I'm coming into politics, I'm not looking for somebody that will start sponsoring me from day one. So I've been sure I need to know what I want, and I need to know how to go about it. Yes, in midway, if I now need some support, I should come in. Now, we've done a whole lot to try and see how we can assist our people. And government shows straight that you could have opportunities where you can help your people. Now, coming into politics, I told myself that yes, I could do legislative businesses, because I have been in the grassroots. I am the grassroots, in fact. I've dealt with the people at that level, and I truly understand what the people want. So when I was coming into politics, it wasn't easy. Some people were not comfortable with it. That, why are you going to get into this dirty business? I said no. Politics is seen to be dirty because some people play it dirty. My wife was also not very comfortable. Sweetheart, you didn't tell me you were going to go into politics. I said, well, I told her jokingly one day, did I tell you when you come into my house you are going to have a 3 square meal? We laughed about it. She mentioned some of her concerns, and I told her straight that there are these concerns. I acknowledge them and I appreciate them too, but there are things I wasn't going to do in the name of politics, and there were things that were not going to alter my uprightness in politics. And today I've kept it firm. I try to be upright in my dealings. I try not to alter my faith in God in politics, and by the grace of God we'll keep pushing. And I believe in the Bible that there's time for everything, and the Bible also said that when you seek you shall find, and I'll keep seeking until I think it's no longer necessary. But I think for today politics still remain a part of me. I've invested so much in time, emotions, beyond money, that I want to keep pushing. I think when I came into politics, a lot of young people were not interested in politics. I think it was only myself and Blessing Agomeri that were the young people around us.
We'll get to that point.
That wanted to come out. But today I'm happy a lot of people are also showing interest in politics. So I want to give myself kudos that we open the gates for people to start thinking that politics is not a dirty business. Professionals like us can come into politics.
Okay. Well, we'll have to go on a commercial break right now. And then when we come back, we still have more questions for Comrade Victor Okhaimo. So please stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back, viewers. We're still here on Real Talk, and I still have Comrade Victor Okhaimo with me. Now I want to know, what would you say has been your best time in politics?
Has there really been a best time for me? Yeah. When I came into politics, in fact, we started this struggle since 2013.
Okay.
That was the first time I ever mentioned it to anybody I was interested in politics. The acceptance I got from younger people who had known me physically and also heard about me was quite warming and encouraging. And we were everywhere trying to ensure we galvanize support and see how we can form a bloc within the younger generation where we can also help ourselves. I had very overwhelming support when I came in, and those moments were were quite helpful, and those moments were quite good. But the best of it is that politics made me create some platforms. Like we set up People's Assembly. People's Assembly was enabled me gather women and young people who we empowered them with soft loans, non-interest paying loans, even if some of them went into default eventually. But I saw people who truly needed help, people who truly needed to work, people who truly were looking for opportunity where they can launch out. And I was happy that I provided a small opportunity. I thought I was going to build on this if our political plans had worked, and we should have been able to use our experience to attract government attention and bring in a lot of credit schemes. Having had some of this experience with microfinance banking, I know all the agencies and even the central bank to attract small and micro scale loans. So my best time was when I saw those women happy that they got a 10,000, a 20,000, a 50,000 loan, and that they feel that they belong to, they have hopes of tomorrow. They belong to a group where somebody is seeing their plans, seeing their plights, and understand what they need. So
and actually making deliberate efforts.
Yeah, you see them making deliberate effort to ensure that they are paying back so that the next woman would get, or the next young person would get. And those were moments of happiness for me, that I was touching lives, and I was truly touching lives.
Now, you ran twice and didn't get the ticket for your party. Why?
In 2014, I ran against, I was in PDP. I came out strong from nowhere. I came out, I didn't have leaders who were strongly supporting me then. We were young men and we were running all over the constituency, spending money to reach places and going to anywhere we needed to go to. And I also think we were young then, inexperienced, and we didn't have political friends who were at the decision-making level. But I didn't want that to hinder me, because when I started the fight, I took it to the end. So, and I couldn't have had the effrontery to tell my people that no, we're not going to go through. We had prospects in the first time. Yes, some political accommodation did not work in our favor, and we didn't get it. In the first time, I came a distant third behind Abbas Brahma and Hussein Garba then, and I came third out of 5 persons. For me, as a first time, that was also encouraging. And I told myself, next time we're going to try again. In 2016, after there was a third time that you didn't mention, there was a third time. In 2016, after Philip Shaibu became deputy governor, there was a by-election that the People's Democratic Party and its leadership in Edo North unanimously said I was going to run, and I was supposed to get a ticket. But the party wanted me to step down for Judy Magwe, because there were chances that there were going to be some support from federal level, which eventually didn't come. And because I'm a party man to the core, I respected the party and said, okay, Jude, you can run. So, well, I didn't run, but that was the closest I even had to run, because the ticket I had, because there was a unilateral decision that I should run. So I let that go, and eventually Jude did not win the elections, and I knew I had very bright chances then. Then in 2019, I decided to give another shot at it. I was still in PDP, and by the time we went into that race, it was me against Blessing Agbomere, and I knew it was a very good chance for us, but it was me against the party structure. I was the candidate of the people, Blessing was the candidate of the party. But even at that, the fight was fierce. It was a very close contest. I pulled about 130 votes against 150-something vote of Blessing. And everybody was wondering, where did these votes come from? One man against the party, the lot. But I must note that I had some party leaders who were sympathetic with me, who were ready to support me, who came out for me. And the likes of late Zakawan Garuba, may so rest in peace. One man I will continue to have respect for, because of the way it came out. He was speaking to the party leadership that no, Victor possesses the highest credentials and he has chances of winning. But in politics, your calculation may not be another man's calculation. But however it went that way. In fact, we went to court, and there were clear chances that we were going to win in court. But the party had to get my leader, Pastor Sageze, to prevail on me to withdraw this matter from court. And for me, when I keep leadership and I say you are my leader, it is difficult for me to say no to you. So we took that matter out of court. But coincidentally, unfortunately, Blessing still didn't win the election. So these are what we had that didn't work for us in the last times, and we don't have regrets whatsoever. They are all lessons for us, and they gave us a very good build-up and very strong political experience for us to learn from.
Yes, which is why I'm going to ask this next question. Your experience in PDP, how was it?
Yeah, PDP was an experience for me. Some time ago, I was trying to tell myself, was it a path that I truly used? Let me tell you how I found myself in PDP. When I decided to go into politics in 2013, I realized that coming from Iyamu, the ACN or the AC then was supposed to be the party of my community. And I joined the party because Adams Oshiomhole was governor then.
Okay.
It was only natural for me to support a party where my kinsman was in. And permit me to note that almost all the political parties are platforms for us to aspire. I think with what we see today, the individual who is aspiring has a lot of credentials to display that at times may undermine the platform you are running from. I never had the chance of having audience with Adams Oshiomhole, maybe because of Providence, whatever it was, but we never had that chance. And it was obvious if I was not going to be sitting with Adams Oshiomhole to talk to him about my aspiration, I wasn't going to go anywhere. So it formed the basis why I joined the PDP. And I have no regrets to today that I joined the PDP because it offered me a better opportunity to want to aspire, even if I didn't get the tickets then. And it exposed me to a lot of experiences with leaders and members of the party. PDP is a strong, good party, apart from the fact that we have some leadership issues. Somebody will tell you that PDP is a leadership party. And if the leaders are saying this is what it is and you are not supporting it, it looks as if you are not loyal to the party. But I want to note that it's not every calculation of a leader that actually works.
Right. Okay.
So if it does, for these numbers of years, PDP has not won elections, especially in Edo North. So if their calculations and leaders are right, then I don't think it is the best of calculations. Now, I will single out that I'm not sure whether I had issues with Chief Danobi, but he has not given support to most of my aspiration. And I took that as with very strong exception, and at the time I had to confront him. But each time we demand for a level playing field, they tell you that there's going to be a level playing field. And that's what I've always demanded for, a level playing field. I have always believed that I have credentials, I have the pedigree that can win me an election in a general election. But getting the ticket has always been the major issue. And in any election, the ticket is actually the key thing, especially for those who have capacity to win. Candidates that are popular, candidates that are known, candidates that enjoy the grassroots support. And I happen to belong to that class of, or category of politicians who are in touch with the grassroots. And I'm not sure why some of us who are in touch with the grassroots possess some threats to leadership. In fact, I'll tell you that one of the party leaders told me that the people like me too much, and if I hold any political position, I'll probably take over leadership of the party. I said no. That is supposed to be an advantage
thing, yes,
for us, but why are people seeing that as
a threat?
But for me, I've decided to continue to be a loyal party man, and PDP was an experience for me. I left there without quarrels. I left PDP without skirmishes. I left PDP without having enemies. And that's why today I enjoy patronage from the PDP. I'm a man across party lines. I'm a man across religions line, and it gives me a lot of joy. Now, I didn't just wake up and come to APC, and I sat down, I truly asked myself, what moral justification do we have if we start crossing carpets all the time? And for me, I want to stay in PDP all through, and if I'm getting what I get, glory be to God. If I'm not, I stay with them. But unfortunately, it came to a time that I was almost the only PDP person in my community, and it wasn't healthy for me. And you know, when you're almost treated like an outcast.
Yeah, because of aspirations.
Some people will secretly want to fraternize with me, but they can't do it openly because of the strength of APC in my community. And you can't fault anybody. Comrade Adams Oshomole had done a lot for my community, especially in terms of infrastructure. Even if it's the university alone, it becomes difficult for anybody to fight or work against him.
Yeah.
And as God will have it, he visited me sometime in 2019, 26 December 2019, and we didn't talk politics, but to me it was a great honor that a former governor, a former national chairman visits you in the house in the name of kinship or brotherhood, and you can't be Oshomole's friend without being his political friend. Mm-hmm. The friendship won't work. Mm-hmm. We can't be friends and we are not in the same party. And I sat down with my family, I asked myself, what do I really want in politics? The PDP that I am, how much has the leadership valued and respected me and honored my membership? So it was a decision that was difficult to take, but I had to take it, and I took a bold step, and I joined the APC. And I think I'm enjoying my time in APC today.
Well, onto your aspiration, many thought you were from Auchi.
Yes.
And I'm sure it was used against you.
Yes, people would do that. Don't blame me, don't mind me. My father and my mother got married in Auchi.
Okay.
My mother is an Auchi woman from the Abiru family of Iyeki. And I grew up with her all my life. I built my first house in Auchi. I built my second house in Auchi. And if you even look at me physically, I have a semblance of the Abiru family. I speak Auchi very fluently. I stayed in Auchi all my life. So anybody that thinks I'm from Auchi shouldn't blame me. My mother was a member of the OIC in the Otaru Palace. And most of the things I did revolved around the Auchi Sacred Kingdom. And so it was very, very logical for anybody to think I'm from Auchi. But this people will say Ragwe. Even while I was in Auchi, I had my ties in the village. My father was staying in Jetu, but I come home very regularly. And to God be the glory, I already had a land and thinking of building. Today, we're sitting down in my country home in Iyamo, where I truly belong, and I have peace. But I cannot throw away the fact that there's a parable in Isako that says the bed has two houses, the home of the father and the home of the mother. My mother is still alive. She stays in Auchi. I spend a lot of my time in Auchi, and because Auchi is the administrative headquarters of this place, I still go to Auchi and spend a lot of time. But I'm very, very much home at being known to be an Uzairi man and an Auchi man, and it gives me a lot of political advantage too. So I'm home and dry, and people are now aware that I share the same community with Adams Oshomole, and we're from the same place. And he has also been able to put the community in world map, and I'm happy to also be associating with him. So
now tell us, I know when you started your pursuit in 2014, a lot of people felt you were too young to indicate interest. How did you receive such?
Oh, that would be a great fallacy. In 2014, I was already 41 years.
No, when it comes to the politics, because then we all used to old men.
As a matter of fact, the earliest presidents we had, or presidential candidates we had, were under 40. Gerald Gawan became president before 40. It was, I think, Nnamdi Azikiwe that was above 40. Inauru that was moving for internal self-governance was under 40. Awolowo was under 40. So Tafawa Balewa was under 40. The Sadana of Sokoto then was under 40. So it was our own mentality. I think the younger people in Isako at the time will feel that if they cannot do it, you cannot do it. So this pulling down syndrome was everywhere. When I came to, people told me I should go and run for councillor. You can see what people are thinking. And I asked myself, I know my capacity. As at the time you're asking me to run for councillor, I was already supporting people to become local government chairman. I was already supporting people to become House of Assembly members. I knew what I wanted. I had looked at politics and asked myself, what do I want? Would a councillorship position enable me to achieve what I want to achieve with the people? Would the chairmanship position allow me to also, with all my years and experience? And I said no. I wanted to be a federal lawmaker, so I didn't bother what people thought about my age. But at 41, I was already getting older than the youth. I already had a wife I was managing, so I was a manager of my home. I already had businesses I was CEO of. So if I can manage businesses and they were doing well, I'm managing a home that was doing well, I wonder what I can manage. In fact, it was even a modest demand for me to be asking for House of Rep. I should have been asking for president at 41.
So how were you able to fund your aspiration?
Well, to God be the glory. Politics takes so much money. That's why.
Because it's expensive. It's very,
anybody
very
that tells you politics is not expensive is a joker. I don't want to mention in millions what we were spent, but I came prepared first that I know I was going to spend money. Yes, at least over 80% of funds that were expended on all my political movement were personal funds. A couple of friends supported, but to God be the glory, we spent modestly and we tried to ensure that we were not spending more than was necessary. But however, it was a business that took a lot of money off me, and it was an experience. I don't regret it anyway, but if we have the opportunity of going again, we'll find money to run.
So has it been coming back to APC?
APC has also provided a very good opportunity for me, especially when I'm also close to our leader, Comrade Victor. You need to cling on to somebody in politics to grow or to assess the party or assess information. I'm also a modest person. I don't pester you with my problems or pester you with my position or relationship. But I know today that you, apart from the fact that jokingly at times my ward chairman will tell me that I'm not a leader because I'm an aspirant. Mm-hmm. In politics they tell you if you're an aspirant you are no longer a leader, but by every definition I'm a leader of a party, even if it's in my unit or in my ward, but I'm a leader of the party because it is virtually very difficult for us to have meetings without you calling me for attendance or even hear my opinion on certain things. But with my experience today, having spent at least 8 years in politics, having aspired to very big political positions, and with my contributions to the party, by this authority, I'm a leader in my party.
So do you think APC is a better platform than your previous party, PDP?
I'm one person that has never believed that platforms are supposed to be compared with each other. Okay. There are no clear-cut and distinct differences between most of the political parties or among most of the political parties. If you look at the motto of PDP and APC, they are almost the same thing. Peace, justice and unity. Justice, peace and progress. Apart from the nomenclature and apart from the colors. Even the colors were identical apart from the fact that there's a green in one, there's a blue in one. But I tell people very clearly, it is the human being that wants to occupy a position that will determine the difference between the party. Today, you see a wiki, people say that it's performing because it's providing some level of infrastructure. It's in PDP. The Borno State Governor is also doing very, very well. It's in APC. I am sure we agree that Adams Oshiomhole did very well. I'm sure if he was in PDP, because he came with the mindset that I want to work, I know the problem of my people, he would have done as well, or if not even more. So I tell people that there is no platform that is particularly good, but you find an opportunity to serve using any platform. Make sure your footprints in the sands of time. For me, when they call you to serve, it's an opportunity, and you must ensure that when you are leaving, your absence will be felt. So for me, in any political party I find myself, I think I will define what I want, I think I will excel, and I think people will miss me when I'm no longer there. I've done it in small organizations where I had the opportunity of leading, and today they talk about me. And for me, I think we should create opportunities where we need to work, define what we want, work and serve the people, and write your name on gold.
So now, you said running election in 2023, and then what position?
2023 is very close but very far from us. Okay. I'm a core party man. For those that are already clamoring for position, I think I want them to hold on a while. We have an enormous task in front of us. On the 26th of February, it's already slated for our convention of the party. This convention, or every convention, naturally, is either will make or a my party. So I think for now we need to dissipate energy on trying to be sure that we have a very peaceful and smooth, hitch-free convention that will define and determine the fortunes of our party. However, it doesn't stop me from mentioning the fact that I have been very consistent and modest with what my political aspiration has always been. I have always wanted to be in the House of Reps because I think I want to participate in legislation. And because I am with the people and I know what they want, I want that. Now, the party is also talking about zoning. I don't think, having gone this far in politics, having aspired this number of times, that I will come across an opportunity to run that I will not run. I don't want to run for House of Assembly. I've never wanted to be one. I also don't think I have the muscle or capacity to want to go for Senate or anything higher. But I'm saying that if, however, those opportunities come and I know that it's something that we can clinch, why not? If we have an opportunity and we are saying that the zoning formula works in our favor, I don't think it's any crime for me to re-aspire for the position of the House of Representatives representing the Sako Federal constituency.
So now that's a yes to my question.
It's an aspiration for me. It has always been. I've always wanted to be a member of the House of Reps.
Okay, now, but do you think that you make a better, option than the current House of Reps member?
I've actually not taken my time to evaluate the works of Johnny Oguma.
Yeah.
Johnny Oguma strike me like a perfect gentleman. We've met a couple of times, and each time we meet and we exchange pleasantries. I will look at what he's doing, but you won't say because a man is working and you have an opportunity to do more, you don't want to do more. I have my own plans and policies. I have my own dreams for my people. Also, we also need to give opportunities for fresh entrants to come in. Johnny is doing his second term, if you like call it 1.5 term, but he's been sworn in twice. And I also think that we should also have an opportunity to run. I will create another driver probably. I will create other aides that will work with me. So I think we need to create an opportunity for this wealth, opportunities or employment to go around. So I think Johnny has done his best, and if he still wants to run, I won't challenge it. But I also think opportunities should be given to other people to also come and continue from where Johnny is going to stop.
Okay. There are new entrants in this political race that could have better chances of winning, that could have better chances emerging as the party's candidate. How do you intend to manage?
Okay, I will first of all assume that I have not told you I want to run.
Okay.
But I'm saying that if the opportunity presents itself, I will run. So, using that as a background for me to answer your question, I am one person who is not scared of competition. In fact, I will even come and meet you and will share my ideas with you. What would be. If I am going to be a candidate, I will be a candidate. Nobody is going to take it away from me. That is if God has said that is what is going to happen. Now, I have seen a couple of persons coming in. I know them. I have also profiled them. I still don't think anyone exhibits or has credentials that are intimidating enough that will make me not to say I want to run if the opportunity presents itself. Now, I have also met a couple of them. We had discussions on how to collaborate if the need be, on how to push the cause of our people forward. The more the merrier. I think we should encourage a lot of people to come in. And I believe in politics of inclusiveness. If I'm running with you and I win, I should be able to carry you along and bring those ideas you had. Let us see how we can use it to help our people. If you had plans for legislation, if you had beautiful ideas of laws that we could enact, why not? I'll come to you and seek. Please share with me. I am not one person that is scared of sharing, because nobody knows it all. So I also expect that if I'm not going to run and somebody is privileged to have the ticket to run, then they should also approach me to also share ideas. So for now, I think we're the beautiful bride if there's need for us to run. And I'll tell you clearly, when I have the experience, I have the grassroots support, my aspiration cut across all interests. I'm a manager of people, I'm a manager of resources. I've acquired enormous experience that gives me the edge. My mother is an Auchi woman, my father is an Zare man. These are the two biggest political blocs in Edo North. And that's where the numbers come out from when it comes to voting. My mother is a practicing Muslim, my father was a Christian. I have an idea about what Islam is. I practiced Islam at the time when I was staying with my mother. Today I'm a practicing Catholic. So my proposed candidacy cuts across the religion divide, political divide. I have friends in PDP who are ready to decamp and come to APC if I say I want to run. So these are credentials enormous enough to intimidate anybody, even the person that is currently sitting in the office. So with beautiful ideas coming, then we have very bright chances to aspire for any position in the land.
So now, rumor has it that Comrade Adams and Joshua is running for Senate or intend to run for Senate. Would that directly or indirectly affect your aspirations?
Okay, I think the aspiration of Adams Liu Shomole has remained a rumor, like you said.
Okay.
The social media is awash with this same rumor. I don't think he has told anybody directly or indirectly that he wants to run. Comrade Adams Oshomole is not a senatorial material. Yeah. It's a presidential material.
Yeah,
with his popularity even before he became governor, he has the pedigree, he has the capacity, he has the credentials to run for president of this country. And let me tell you straight without thinking, if you ask me my opinion about the next political destination of Adams Oshomole, I thought he would be thinking of becoming a president, especially when they are zoning, APC is zoning the president to the south. Without prejudice to the micro zoning that may happen in the south, I think it should be warming up for such. Now, peradventure, he does not want to run. I also think one of the very good ministries, Adams Oshomole could fit in there. There are other positions in the engine room of government, the chief of staff, the secretary to the federal government. These are very good positions that could affect governance.
You've been the president of our Chikole alumni, and you've made impacts. Please, can you share your impact with us? What impact you've made so far?
Okay, in 2015, after I didn't get the ticket of the House of Rep in our party, the People's Democratic Party, the opportunity came for us to elect the president of my alma mater, the Auchi Technical Alumni Association, and a lot of calls came coming. That Victor, you have capacity. Can you avail yourself to take the position of the president? Initially, I didn't think I had the time. I also didn't think it was what I wanted to do, because prior to now, it was the old people that we see becoming president of Alumni Association, people who graduated in the 60s, in the early 70s. And to me, why would they want this young man to change the narratives? But having consulted myself, consulted God and my immediate family, I said, well, let me give it a try. So I became president of the association for 2 consecutive years of 2 years each, 2 consecutive terms of 2 years each. And it was a very wonderful experience for me. It was something that provided a platform for me to even test how much I can do if I'm given bigger positions of responsibility. We changed the narratives in the alumni, and in my time, we created enormous visibility in the association. I'm sure you had worked with me in a couple of committees. We were able to complete some student project. We donated a 200 room sitting capacity to the School of Engineering then, engineering drawing studio. In my time, I started a 600-seater classroom block that is still under construction, that we plan to give to the School of Business Administration. And we were in the forefront of the agitation for us to convert the Polytechnic to City University of Technology, Auchi. To this day, I think that that bill is sitting with the president and waiting for his assent. So a lot of things we did, and we wanted to be sure that we put the Polytechnic in the map of Polytechnics, or at least among the committee of Polytechnics. And we left leaving our footprints in the sand of time, and I think today the results are showing that we needed to work. And like I said, whatever position of responsibility you have, you need to show workings, you need to show that, yes, you were here. And once you're able to do that, nobody can take away the glory from you.
Well, it's a record now that you're not presently in good terms with your president, your successor in office. What are the issues, and how are these issues presently being resolved?
You know, every human being has become a political animal. Yeah. My successor in office has probably decided to do his thing. When he came in, I didn't support him to come in, because till tomorrow I'll say it. I did not think he has the kind of capacity that was needed for a president of the alumni. And when I say capacity, I like people to know my understanding and meaning of capacity. Capacity is not just about your financial strength. It is your ability to think and create innovations. And of course, engage people and execute these innovations that you've created. If you're able to come into a system, bring in new ideas, execute them and implement them, and they change things that are happening. I met an alumni that was docile. I met an alumni that was not visible. You were a member of the Committee on Founders Day celebration, and that was the first of its kind. Founders Day brought a lot of old boys to the school that they've never met. It was in Founders Day that we knew that the current MD of Zenith Bank was a member of, or was an old boy or old student of Auchi Polytechnic. Till today, Amidat, Founders Day has been relegated, but nobody's even talking about it. And this was something laudable that we did. So when I came in, the ideas I brought into the alumni were things that I expected whoever is succeeding from me to continue. It was not the case. You come to an association where we expect that you to contribute to it. People are looking forward that the association should be contributing to those that are leading it. It's painful. And the guys that came in to take over are from Delta States. We that are here, we have double stake. The first stake that it is our alma mater, and the second stake that it is in our land. Yeah. If the Polytechnic is not doing well, then directly or indirectly they will hold us, who are leaders, present or past leaders, accountable. So when I feel bad that the Polytechnic, the alumni is not running the way it should run, then I want you to understand and appreciate my concerns. It's been 2 years, we've not seen any visible development in the school. I passionately ask that the project that I left should be continued. They're doing it very sluggishly. And usually you see them trying to bring in projects that are not necessary, where we have old projects. But I'm happy that everybody is now able to compare where I stopped and where it was taken up from. And we can see that we are not doing as well as we should have, given the tempo that I created. So when this is not happening, I expect that a father should born a child who is more responsive, who is more responsible. When I produce an offspring who is not taking my ideas from where I stopped, who is not building up on the plans that we had. When I came in, I had a slogan that we would take the alumni to the next higher level. It's not just the next level.
But higher.
Next level can be a bad level. So the next higher level is where I said I was going to take the alumni to. And to the glory of God, everybody acknowledged that I took the alumni to the next higher level. So I expected that same slogan to be our own mantra, that we're taking the alumni from step to step. As an ESCO comes in, the next ESCO will take it further higher. But what we see here is that we're going down the drain. So I can't be happy about it. And as I speak, I'm concerned about it. And we're going to correct some of the wrongs that were created.
Wow, this has been very, very enlightening and informative. So back again to politics. Who is your candidate for presidency 2020?
That's a big one that you are drawing my leg. I've always wanted a president who has age on his side. I'm an advocate of the youth.
Okay.
A very strong advocate of the youth. Okay. Yes, we might not be able to produce president within our age bracket, but let's have a president who is young in heart, young in ideas, who is intellectually mobile, who is strong and has good health.
Okay.
I do not know who that person is going to be, but I want a Nigeria where my president will speak. I will be happy.
Okay.
I want a Nigeria where my president will be in office 365 days a year. And if you ask me, you'll be surprised. My hobby is working. I always work. I don't go on leave because I have that passion. So I want a president who would be working all the time. And if he has to rest, he's just going to rest for a short time, and it's going to be a voluntary rest. Nigeria is too big a country, too important a country in the world, that we will not have a president who is vibrant, who is strong, who is healthy, and who can speak for the people. We have over 200 million Nigerians living in Nigeria. Nigerians are the most educated black people in America. Nigerians have created the best innovations in the world. And these are all happening outside Nigeria. If we have a country where we have security and power, just these two issues, Nigeria will become El Dorado. And I see people in that with such capacities coming into governance already. So if we have people who in that cadre, I am sure that we are going to have a good Nigeria. And for me, what I want for Nigeria is good living. I have never been an advocate of living abroad. I love this nation. I like it. I want to live here. I want to die here. I want my children to love it. I told you this morning that I would love my children to go to university in my village. I don't want to lose my children. And even those in diaspora, they want to come back home. But for insecurity, they are unable to come.
Yeah.
For power, they are unable to come. If we get some of these things right, Nigeria will be the best place in the world.
Well, Nigerians are all clamoring for youthful representation in politics. I know you said something about your age, that, okay. But would you consider yourself a youth? And how much would this agitation help you? Okay, let me put the question better like this, okay? Nigeria currently clamor for youthful participation in politics. Would you regard yourself a youth, and how much would you benefit from this agitation?
It depends on what definition you are taking. But the most universally accepted definition does not allow me to become a youth today. That is the truth. My last birthday was 48.
Okay.
So I'll be 49. I'll be 50 very shortly.
Okay.
Though there's a saying that 40 is the old age of youth and 50 is the youth of old age. I said that I beg and the permission of the younger generation to still allow me to address myself as a youth. But by right, I am not supposed to be a youth. But because I participate in youthful activities, I identify with the young people, and I behave like a young man, I also want to be addressed as a youth. I have advocated for youthful participation in politics for a long time. So if I have an opportunity of benefiting from it, why shouldn't they allow me to benefit from it? Some of my mantra, especially the most important one, is to take the youth out of the dungeons. And I told you that in my idea of creating independence and business, I wanted to create a platform where the young people can launch out. If I create a business idea that produces a man, that gives a man 30 to 50,000 every month, I think it's a platform that you can start to grow. So I have always thought about what we can do for our younger people, because the youth holds the future of any country.
Okay, now let me give you an opportunity to say your manifesto on this
I don't have a
platform.
manifesto yet.
No, you will, but let me just give you this avenue to tell us what your plans are. What are your plans if voted for?
Well, there are critical factors that I think, as a person, will drive us. But I'm particular about the young people, young men and women who have left school, they are unemployed. Young us, we should be able to determine that yes, this is our school. He is not from Edo State, but we should also let him know that the stakes are high. We cannot afford to have a docile rector for our polytechnics. All polytechnics are in competition. We want to see those that will produce the best students. We want to see how active the polytechnic is. We want to see how robust their academic programs are. We want to see how uninterrupted the calendar is. So for us in the polytechnic, even if we are not here, our stakes are high here. If the polytechnic is good, we take glory for it. The socio-economic life of the people will also boom. And that's why I've been very, very much interested in ensuring that this clamor for us to have the City University of Technology will increase the funding of the school. You understand what the polytechnic is, especially when students are around.
Yeah.
The economic situation changes.
Yes.
And we know how much business are interconnected or interwoven with the presence of the polytechnic. So when we now have a university, which might even explode to having campuses even within Edo North, then we are going to have major economic activities happening here, and it will put us in a better position on the map. So I'm interested in who becomes the polytechnic head, and we're also interested in ensuring that he does the right thing. So these are my interests in the polytechnic.
Okay, now from your past experience, your experience in politics, what advice do you have for upcoming politicians, both from councillor, for chairman, House of Assembly, young people who are going to politics? You know, because you started quite early and you've been able to overcome a lot of hurdles. Not everybody will be able to overcome the hurdles you overcome and still remain sane, especially when it involves funding. And I can tell you, I've been part of a lot of politicians' aspirations in the past who aspired for local government chairman, councillor and all that, and today they are really nowhere because they've lost their footing, especially when they had to use their personal funds for politics. They don't really have anything to fall back on. So from your own experience, what would you say to younger politicians, upcoming politicians?
First and foremost, I would like and advise that people should get more active in politics. People should get involved.
Okay.
If we allow idiots to continue to rule us because we that are supposed to be wise are keeping our hands folded, then they will continue to give us idiotic idea and create a destination that sounds idiotic. Now, the first thing I like to say is get involved. Develop yourself. You may not have the qualification. Why do you want to lead? You also need to view yourself and ask yourself, do I have the leadership skills? People don't actually examine themselves properly. They don't even have plan. Design a plan for yourself. We must be involved. If youth decide to work together, we have the capacity. If you permit me to be the youth, we have the capacity to get the best hands on board, from councillors to chairman, up to president. But we must come with objective ideas. We must come with the mind that we want to serve, not what we can get out of the system. Yes, while you're in the system, there's no way you won't benefit. But let your presence be felt. Let it be that the dreams and aspirations of your party too, you accept them and allow them to dovetail down to the people.
Wow. So now, before we draw the curtain onto this program, any final words?
Generally, politics has been very interesting for me, and like I said, it is not the time for me to draw back. My case right now is like a man that is traveling from Auchi to Benin and he gets to where he says he's tired. No. I would rather dissipate my last energy to continue the journey and finish. Asking myself, what are we going to tell our children? Are we going to give a good account of ourselves that we have done well? And how do you explain to them that we cannot have a decent economy, we can't have a decent environment like what obtains in developed countries? We can't explain to them why we don't have light, why we don't have good roads, why we can't have good health care, why we can't have good education. If we get it right, all of this will be a thing of the past. We have the resources. Nigeria is one of the most blessed country in the world. In fact, there was this argument that there was a certain meeting of African presidents, and one of the presidents said God wasn't fair to them, that they gave Nigeria everything, both human resources, natural, everything. And the Ghanaian president said no, that he gave them everything but took away leadership.
Yes.
So as of today, God gave us everything and asked us to choose leadership. So we have to get it right. Once we have a good leader, I'm sure every other thing will fall in place. If we allow our personal interests to continue to overshadow our general interests, then we'll still find ourselves here. We'll continue to run around in circles. Let us not forget that if Nigeria is good, everybody will be happy. It takes a little to satisfy Nigeria. We are not asking for too much. An average Nigerian wants a good job that will pay him, he eats, he has a bottle of drink in the evening, and there will be peace. If we have all of this going, I'm sure there will be no agitation. You will not even have insecurity. The insecurities we experience here is happening because we think the difference between the big man and the poor man are so wide. And the rich people have not allowed their wealth to be felt by their neighbors who are poor men. So naturally they are feeling insecure. So if we all accept to work together and live together, we should create some form of equality so that we will have one Nigeria. But I envision we have a country where we can sleep and open our doors. We can travel from Sokoto to Calabar without being scared. We can aspire to any position in this land without having Godfather